right, everybody, welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
This is Tony.
Man, Tony, I might be ready to go on a cruise by the time he pays rent. That fool always at work now. I'm cool. Thank you.
You don't want to go on a cruise.
Well, yeah, right. Well, you got your wish, Tony. You called it.
What's that?
Those 5 people on that submarine are dead.
I did not wish that, bro.
That's what you said.
I said...
That's what they get.
In a nutshell, yes, but not...
No nutshell. That's what you said.
And you know, you're hearing the stories about now there's 2 passenger ships down at the bottom of the sea, the Titanic, and now this thing is gonna be right next to it. And dude, it should not be there.
But they said that there was nothing left of it. That there was just a debris field. It wasn't like it sunk to the bottom and was just there and they ran out of air. The shit imploded.
Yeah. And you know, they knew that. The Navy knew that.
Yeah,
they said
before they released it or before they told it.
I think when it happened, they knew it. But they couldn't. They knew it, but they weren't 100% sure that that's what it was. But they said they heard the sound.
My question is it possible? Is it possible that there was some sort of Chinese or Russian submarine in the area and they decided to take the opportunity to take out the little minnow?
I doubt that, because they said it happened like within an hour and a half.
Bro, when I started watching the news about it, right? Because I was like, oh man, that's fucking crazy. Like, dude, the dude built it at home. The submarine.
Right.
Although he had, all these people test it and, check schematics and did all that, but he controlled it with a PS5 controller.
Yeah. They were saying it was made out carbon fiber. I mean, I'm assuming that's a strong material.
Yes.
But they said no, it should have been made out of steel. They said it was 5 inches thick. And they said steel has to be 7 inches thick. They said they were saying that every time it went down, I mean, I don't think it made that many trips. I think it only went down like 3 or 4 times, they said. But every time it went down, it made that carbon fiber that much weaker.
Oh, absolutely. Just like every time you fly a plane, all that structure, all that shit becomes weak. Like you're pushing a force through the air. This object through the air at 200 and some odd miles per hour. The same with the boat. You're putting it under so much pressure from all the gallons of water in the ocean that it's got to be. It's not going to be as good as new every time you put it down.
What you're saying makes sense, and I didn't realize that. So now you got me nervous every time I take a flight. How many times has this aircraft been in the sky?
Bro, there's fucking airplanes that have been in commission still for like 50 years and shit. Like, there's some old-ass planes out there. And not to mention, we talk about, well, every time it's in the air, it's compromised a little, right? How many fucking trips does it make in a day?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, when you go and you buy a used car, right? You look at the miles, right?
Right.
And you're like, oh, some people, oh no, but those are fucking freeway miles. That just means you had the engine on and stressed it out longer than, I probably will. Oh no, but they're better because it's not stop and go. It's the same shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Have you heard the stories about the people though?
No.
Okay, one guy was a billionaire. He has a stepson that went on social media from a Blink-182 concert, taking selfies of himself at this concert, talking about, some of you might think that I should be at home because my stepfather is lost in the middle of the sea in the submarine. But this is how I cope. I know they want me to be here at this Blink-182 concert.
It was his stepmother. What do you want?
That is so wrong, kid.
But if it was his, you're the one that said they got what they deserve.
I'm not related to him.
Yeah, but he's not related to him either.
That's his mom's husband.
Yeah, because his mom is getting dicked down by that dude doesn't mean that. It means
You don't think he's getting benefits out of it too? Roof over his head?
Well, I'm sure he is. But,
Okay.
But still, that don't mean just because you're getting free rent don't mean somebody love you.
Nah, kid. He was wrong. You know what? You want to go to that concert? You go to that concert. If you had the worst relationship with that man, that's fine. But you don't go telling the world that you're at this concert and your stepfather's lost at sea right now in the submarine. Talking about he'd want me here.
3-hour tour.
And then the other one, the father-son duo.
Okay.
Dog, the son didn't want to go. It was supposed to be the father and the wife. But the wife, for whatever reason,
She set it up.
she couldn't go. Either she didn't want to or she couldn't.
They need to check. You need to check policies on mom. Mom knew.
No, the son didn't want to go, but he didn't want to make a big stink about it because his dad wanted to go, and it was Father's Day.
And that's a good kid, though. That's a good kid, though. It's too bad he had to die. You know, he's going out there. You take one for the team. I'm gonna go with Dad, Mom. You stay home. Whatever your issue is, I'm gonna go with Dad.
And then they were talking about there was another guy that was supposed to go with a son. I don't know how young the son was, but the son did not want to go because he was afraid. Now get this. You laugh all you want, but if it wasn't for this, they'd be dead. The kid didn't want to go because he was afraid that the submarine would be attacked by either an octopus or something else, maybe a shark.
How do we know it wasn't?
True. Hey.
There's no black box on that thing.
Oh, a squid. I'm sorry, it was a squid.
Same shit. Octopus, squid. One's got a longer head than the other. That's all. Same shit, right?
I guess so.
Which gets bigger?
Which what?
Yeah, which one gets bigger? A kraken or a squid?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a lot of weird shit on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I heard.
Because they were showing videos the other day. I saw a video of something that looked like a cross between a baby shark, a gnat, and a daddy long legs. I mean, it had the shark body, and it had these really long legs, but it could swim. The legs would just come up, and it would and gone.
Damn.
Crazy looking shit. Wow. So you're taking a what I and you yourself I think at this point would be a truly untested underwater machine.
Not only untested.
It only had 6 hours worth of air in it to begin with, right? Or some shit like that. Or 36 hours worth of air in it.
A couple of days worth of air. But a proudly untested vessel. Because the owner of the company was like proud to say, we don't follow the rules. The government's trying to, you got to do all these things, but we're not going to do that. Horrible.
Well, your attitude about it, where that's what they get.
That's not what I said.
That's a very Latino way to approach it.
That might have been what I said. Okay, I'll take it.
Because I think that, I don't know about how Puerto Ricans are, but when I was a kid and I'd go and I'd hurt myself and I'd go, por pendejo, I told you, cabrón, y no. Yeah, and now what? Váyase, go.
That's like wearing a gold rope chain and walking through the hood. And then when it gets took, it's like, right, well, what do you expect? Mm-hmm. Now, and I do remember I specifically said I'm not hating on. I mean, yes, I did say they get what they deserve or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But still, that's when I thought they had a chance.
Well, I just, that's a massive set of balls, though. First of all, is to say, fuck it, we haven't tested it, but let's go down in the coldest water on Earth, way deep down where only like super submarines have gone down to capture video. Unmanned, right? The other ones were unmanned, right?
Yeah.
They went down there with just cameras inside of them so that they can get video of what was going on.
Did you see pictures of what it actually looked like inside?
Yeah, it was just like a steel tube, right?
Yeah, like tiny though.
Like the inside of a bullet.
Dog.
And they were all excited because, oh, it's got a bathroom. Bitch, it had a curtain and a porta potty.
And they said you're going down there and just to look out like a small ass window to have to see everything.
And it was at the very front.
It was hard.
And that's where the guy that was driving it has to sit because how's he gonna see what you know what I mean?
It's like did I ever tell you I went into the Statue of Liberty?
Yes.
Okay, when you go to the Statue of Liberty, it's like a spiral staircase in the center of her. And dude, that shit is crazy. It's like narrow and you can't look. You can't once you're in there going up, you cannot stop. Because it's like a double staircase,
right? Where
one side is coming down while the other side is going up.
Okay.
You got to go all the way up. Once you start it, if you change your mind, you're screwed. Dude, it's been couple of decades ago that I did it. I'm talking, I was probably in my teens.
So you were still fit and able to make it to the top?
Yeah, because I wouldn't do it now knowing what it takes. I don't even know if they allow people up there anymore, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But when you get up there, you're going up to her crown. And that's where the windows are. It's like her headband, if you will.
Right.
And those are windows. And you could just, dude, you're looking out the window for like 5 seconds because you got hundreds of people behind you with hundreds of people in front of you. And you just keeping it moving. And you just barely looking out.
So you did like 6,000 steps up to her fucking
something like
headband.
That. Dude, it's nuts. It's
and then
scary.
6 down.
Yeah.
It's scary. On the way down, it just rolled.
It's scary, kid.
I bet. There's no way, dude. You're gonna catch me doing shit like that. Dude, like when you go on your cruises, do they have the slides that hang over the edge of the?
No.
No.
But I think when we took our Disney cruise,
yeah,
they did. Disney did.
Did you get on any of them?
Hell no. My kids did.
Really?
Yeah, but you know what? My memory's so bad. I might have. I don't think I did, but.
You mean you were too drunk to remember?
Not on the Disney cruise, no.
So, how long were they? Do you remember reading in the article or whatever? How long were they in the water before it imploded? Well, it had to have been. Well,
they said like an hour and a half. Well, they said it was an hour and it had to be the explosion. They said it was like within at an hour and a half, they lost communication, and that's when they say it happened.
Wow.
Well, and the good thing is, just like you said, they said they wouldn't have known. They didn't know it happened. It's not like they knew they were going to die. It just happened.
Well, they said that it was like within a millisecond of it imploding. They were instantly done. Like, because you got to figure once it explodes, you're being ripped apart and crushed all at the same time.
Damn.
Because that pressure of that water is fucking vicious, dude. Like, you know, and that's the one thing about water, dude. Water is one of the most calming and soothing things in the world. Like, you can go to the ocean and sit there, and a lot of people do it, like when they're having issues, they'll go and they'll sit and stare at the water and watch and just listen to the you know, the water crashing, the waves crashing in and rolling back out. And that sound is soft and soothing. Go sit by a babbling brook and you say, you know what I mean? Hearing the water trickle away. And then all of a sudden, the fucking water dips back down for like half a mile, and then here comes like a fucking 100-foot wave in, because now there's a fucking tsunami, and it takes the first 18 miles of fucking civilization out. Like, water's vicious, dude. It's strong, and that's the scary part about water. You know what I mean? Like, even like when you go like You know, like if you're back here, or if you're up in Moab, up in Utah, and you're going through those mountains, and you're going through or if you're out in Arizona and you're going through the canyons, right, or even the canyons here, that you don't know what's going on a mile up, 2 miles up,
Right.
and you're walking through there, and within seconds you'll hear a sound you've never heard before, and it's coming at you like a fucking freight train. And if you don't know where you're at or what you can't get out of the way, you're gonna get swept up. And when it's a flood like that, it's not just water. It's water and all the fucking wood and bushes and all that shit that is picked up before it hits you. You're done. Water's vicious, dude. That's why I get scared when I take showers. Just kidding. But I couldn't imagine being in that little submarine, because you had to have heard. Because when you watch movies about people in submarines or on Navy ships or shit, you hear the metal creak,
Right.
and you hear that's got like that giving me the chills, dude. This thing, could you imagine being in that little fucking tube, dude? And all of a sudden you hear like noises. The fuck was that? Hey, what's going on? And you're like, oh my God, get us to the fucking top, dude. Could you imagine if one of them would have panicked or freaked out?
Oh, you know what else they said? Just like you said, it is equipped with, I guess, balloons on the front and the back end of it.
Oh, really?
That if something were to happen, they inflate or do whatever they do, and it brings them to the top. They said there were safety devices on this, and that's one of them.
So I wonder if they must have lost some sort of electricity or something. There had to have been some sort of electrical malfunction. I'm assuming, because that would keep them from pushing those buttons, or the owner, the whatever of the business, the captain of the submarine or whatever, just no, we're good. We can make it.
We'll never know.
Wow. Could you imagine that, Tony? Being in that, and nobody will ever know what happened to you, except you paid $250,000 each to get into this little capsule of a submarine, to have your life taken away in a matter of split seconds.
You know, also the dude that said that his son was scared of a squid,
Yeah.
so they didn't go. I guess he's showing news outlets like text messages between him and the owner, because the owner was trying to get him to come on board. And so the dude was like, no, my son's afraid. He's like, tell him it's safe, you know, that I'm even going. We've done it before. He's like, no, he's scared of squids. That's not going to happen. Let me talk to your son. I'll convince him. I'll give you $100,000 off. I'll give you a discount of $100,000. And the dude was like, nah, I'll take a pass.
Wow. I wonder if that extra money was to offset cost or whatever. Like,
I just think they were going down regardless. So if I can get somebody else on board, get something out of it, there's an empty seat or two.
I probably would have had claustrophobia in that little tank, especially because you can't see but a porthole out the front, right?
Yeah.
So imagine you're in this little you're like a piece of shit looking out an asshole at the light. You know what I mean? Trying to see where you're going. And all of a sudden, and everybody's out.
You know, when I went to that Puerto Rican Day festival,
Yeah.
I went with some family members, my mom, my grandfather, cousin, brother, sister-in-law. We rode with my brother's father-in-law in their minivan.
Okay.
So we wouldn't have to drive. So if we wanted to drink or whatever, you know, we'd be good. However, my brother and I, we weren't all going to fit in the minivan.
Okay.
So it was my brother's in-laws, husband, his brother, father-in-law, mother-in-law. They took their neighbors, so another couple, and it was my brother and I in the van.
Okay.
My sister-in-law, cousin, mom, and grandfather, they rode in a separate car.
Okay.
I didn't know if I could hack it because my brother and I sat in the way back, the back seat.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's been years.
I was gonna say you were in the kids' seats.
Pretty much. It's been years since I've rode in the back of a van. And you know, I'm older. I'm not used to being first of all, I'm not that great at being a passenger to begin with.
Really?
Yeah. You know, because I'm just so used to driving all the time.
Right.
But to sit in the way back, you know, I think that the one thing that saved me was they actually had air conditioning vents in the ceiling, you know, for each seat.
Oh, okay.
So I had that air, straight at me. I think it was a Honda. Either way, I had that air shooting straight on top of me. I think if it wasn't for that, I would have been really struggling back there. Years since I've had a ride like that.
So, yeah, that's.
And not to mention getting back there.
Oh yeah.
Because
you're tall now. Now you gotta fucking.
and then that middle seat doesn't exactly move out the way perfectly.
Shit, you're 52, so it had to have been at least 46 years since you rode in somewhere like that.
Well, no, high school, you know, somebody had a car, a minivan, you know, you pile in. That's cool. I mean, you know, you're young. We used to go to
the back of a car is different than the back of a minivan. It sways different. Even when it turns different if you're in the, like, you know what I mean? It's just not as stable. And who was driving?
My brother's father-in-law.
And how old is he?
70s.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be 25 years older than you, right? So he was driving pretty slow.
No, actually, he has a lead foot. Got scared there a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I shouldn't be saying this, but a couple of times, bro, he picked up his phone. He's on his phone, and I'm like, oh my god.
Wow.
He had to stop short a couple of times. You know, not because of that, but you know, traffic.
Right.
And you're driving so fast. You know, when traffic is heavy,
right,
I'm not necessarily one car behind. I'm making sure I got some distance between me and the car in front, because you know there's always going to be people stopping.
So you're the 75-year-old man, and he's the 52-year-old.
I'm the safe driver. I get it. But he's like pedal to the metal, flying.
What does he do for a living?
He's retired.
Was he always like? Is the old man like a go-getter?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And my brother says that's how he drives. You know, he's driven with him many times. He's lead foot. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do it again.
That's hilarious. Gee, Tony, all scared.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
Dude, have you seen this show? And I'm late on it. Way late on this show. But it's a show called Suits. Did you ever see it?
No.
It's about lawyers.
Right.
And you know who Meghan Markle is, right?
Yeah.
She's on that show.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was that attractive. Like I see her now, like as you know, the princess or whatever. And she doesn't seem that attractive to me. But on that show, the way that like the first couple of scenes, I was like, oh, damn, who's that? And I saw the name. I was like, Meghan Markle. Why does that sound fucking familiar? Oh. So I got stuck. I watched it for a couple of days. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, I'm like three or four seasons in, dude. I'm into the show. Like
that's like 15 years old already, isn't it?
Yeah, it was early 2010s.
But you want to know what's funny though?
On
On Father's Day, I think I told you we went to Upper Crust for dinner.
Yes.
And we saw, just happened to have my cousins were there.
Oh, that's right. Your family.
And
A lot of your family.
my niece Jackie and her significant other Jessie was there.
Your who?
Her significant other.
No. Before that?
My niece Jackie. My cousins.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. You're good. Go.
They got TVs everywhere.
Right.
So that, as most pizzerias or whatever, they put sports on.
Right.
So we were near a TV, and one of the workers came with a remote. He was changing it to another sports thing, and Jesse yells out, "Hey, could you put on Suits?" And I looked at him. I was like, "That show?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I just recently got into it."
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. All right, Jess. Yeah, dude, it's actually really interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good show.
I got too much stuff to watch.
There's one guy
that.
on there. I'd have fucking knocked him out in the first fucking episode, bro. And you have to watch it to understand. But he's done the same shit from the first episode to where we are now, and he's still there.
A main character or just a major character?
Yeah, like a major character. Yeah.
Is he he's been in a couple of movies.
He's a heavy set dude, and he's got
I think I know who you're talking
he
about.
kind of look like a beaver.
Yeah.
That guy. Oh God, good Lord, bro. I'm sure he's not like that, and his facial features and the way he did the expressions that he makes, I was like, oh yeah, bro.
You know what I watched this weekend? And I recommend it, especially if you had one. BlackBerry, the movie about the cell phones.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw the preview to it, and I wasn't that.
Did you ever have a BlackBerry?
Yeah. You know which one I had that I really liked? What it was called, the Pearl, right?
I had the Bold. I came onto the BlackBerry late.
Oh.
And it was called the Bold because it was like their last line.
Okay.
Before they went, because they tried to do without the keyboard.
Right.
So it was like their last
That's what
phone. Yeah. Well, yeah. The iPhone killed them, but and then when they showed it on the screen because they did their, like Apple does. They go on stage to show what they have.
Right.
And they showed it, and I was like, that was my phone right there. And I used to love that phone. I still love that phone.
I had a couple of BlackBerries. I felt like such a fucking businessman. I never used it for anything for business.
Right?
Like, I could put all my calendar shit in here. I could make notes in here. Oh shit, it's got this card. I could transfer MP3s onto the card, take them home and edit it, put it back on a card. And, holy shit. All right, cool. Yeah, that's the one I want. I ended up getting the one, it was like a clamshell, and it slid up. Do you remember?
BlackBerry?
Yeah. It was black and shiny.
No, I don't remember that one.
And it slid up, and the little roller ball looked like a pearl.
Oh, wow.
That's why it was called, it was dope, dude. I was like, yeah, that's the shit. Phone sucked. It's probably the worst version of that phone that they made, but...
I'll tell you what, I'd still have one if they were around.
Really?
Yeah, I love that phone.
What was it about it that...
I think it was the keyboard. And they even said in the movie that the head guy of BlackBerry, the one who invented it, he did not want to go into a keyboardless phone like the iPhone. And he was like, that's what makes us. That's what sets us apart.
Yeah.
And they were like, you got to move with the times. Look what's Apple's doing. And he was like, yeah, but... And he even said they made it to where the keyboard was like the iPhone where it's just in the screen.
Right.
But he says whenever you pushed a key, it would make that clicking sound and you could feel it.
Right.
But it didn't take off.
It didn't take off.
But the reason I mentioned it, one of the reasons why, is because in that movie, they were just a bunch of nerds that had the idea. And they went to a company to try and get them to make it for them.
Right.
And the company turned them down. The guy who actually met with them turned them down. Well, that guy wound up getting fired from that company and didn't know what to do because he needed another job, and he remembered these nerds with the phone. So he went and told them he'd work for them and sell it for them and all that kind of good stuff because he had connections.
Right.
And that dude was funny, like business, cussing all the time. I'm talking picking up his phone and slamming it.
Oh, that's funny.
From day one, telling people to get the fuck out of my office, all that shit.
It's great to lean back and watch that and remember how people used to do business.
Yeah.
Now everything's so, oh, well, you know, we can blah, blah. Fuck that. Look, I don't have fucking time to hold your hand. It's just not going to get done. So if you don't like it, you can find somebody else, or you can fucking wait until I can get to it. How about that? There's the fucking door.
That's how this dude was.
The good old days.
But like I said, if you had an iPhone, a BlackBerry, it'd be a good movie to watch. Because I remember also the name of the company was RIM. It was Research in Motion. And I kind of remember RIM being something that had to do with the BlackBerry.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, and I'll give the whole... I'll give a secret away from the movie.
Okay.
The actual phone was called Instaphone or something lame like that. I don't remember now.
Okay.
When they got a prototype with the new guy on board, the one I was just talking about, they flew to somewhere because they're from Canada. They flew to New York to try and get whomever was going to make them for them.
Sell it. Okay.
And originally the guy said you got to change the name. That name sucks. It's not catchy, nothing. So on their way to this meeting, the nerd who actually invented it, he was eating blackberries. And he dropped some on his dress shirt. So he had a blackberry stain. And when they were pitching the phone, the last scene in this pitch meeting, the head guy of the company that they were pitching it to was like, this is great. I kind of see what you guys are doing. We want to invest. What's it called? And the nerd and his salesman looked at each other. And they didn't actually say BlackBerry, but obviously it's called a BlackBerry, so that you know why it's called a BlackBerry.
Wow. It's crazy. Some of the best ideas come out of nowhere, right? Holy shit. It would be awesome to be involved with some shit like that, Tony. Why can't we need to come up with something and make something. Let me know when you got a great idea.
Do we know anybody that has? No. Because we wouldn't know them anymore, I guess.
Yeah, but I think we could, if it was the right thing, we could find somebody to listen. What we need to do is get a hold of Shaq. I got Shaq's email address. We can email Shaq.
How do you have his email address?
Man, come on.
That's probably been changed 10 times since you've had it.
Probably. Man, ain't nobody changed email addresses. Everybody got, I bet you he still got an AOL account.
Speaking of iPhone,
BlackSuperman@gmail.
Did you know iPhones are waterproof now?
Yes. Up to 3 meters, 5 meters?
I don't know how many meters, but a few weekends ago, quite a few weekends ago, we had some people over, and Rob's wife dropped her phone in the spa.
Oh shit!
The girls were in the spa, and I was like, oh shit, get a bag of rice, do something. And they were like, no, it'll be all right. She's shaking it, tapping it down with a towel.
Yeah.
And it was good to go. I had no idea.
Man, that's the best piece of machinery you'll ever own right there.
Dog.
That's a pool man's friend.
But let me ask you a question. The port where it's charging.
Yes.
How is that waterproof? I can understand the screen is sealed, even maybe the buttons on the side, but the port?
Well, I think it's got to be because it doesn't output electricity. Does that make sense? When there's not metal connected to it, or a charging unit, or for the earphones, there's no electricity in those until it's engaged. So that whole area could be sealed, watertight, and it won't cause any problems because there's no electricity there until it's engaged. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could kind of see that. The speaker? The tiny speaker?
Same thing. It could just be a ribbon. We don't know. It might not be a speaker. It could just be a ribbon.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a damn good product then.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Because I thought that phone was done. I'm like, y'all going to the store tomorrow to get a new one.
Because that's why, like, when they first started with doing, like, flat screen TVs, that's the whole reason why they came out with the bars, because the speakers on these TVs are shit. Because they're so thin,
right,
that they can't vibrate enough to create sound. So then they decided, okay, so we'll do down-facing speakers. So that way you're going to have it open, or if you have it on top of a credenza or whatever, it'll down-face, it'll hit that, bounce off, and it'll reverberate, and it'll give more sound, and blah, blah, blah. Well, LG was one of the first ones that did it. I think they're the only ones. Actually, everybody else still used a traditional speaker. LG turned and used a ribbon. If I remember correctly, it was just a ribbon. And so, like a speaker, it doesn't give sound until it has motion. And the pulse of the electricity is what changes the movement, right? So you have different sounds. That's why you have a subwoofer that are like, 34 hertz for real low bass, 70 hertz for hard hitting bass, and then you have your door speakers and your tweeters, which are also at different frequencies, which create different sound. Well, you don't have enough room in the TV to put all those, so they switched to just a ribbon so they could make a thinner TV.
Huh.
And that's why they always recommend a bar with these TVs, because the sound sucks. You can't get. That's why my sister had an LG, could never get any kind of bass out of that fucking TV, and then you could only turn it up, like, you could go. It was available up to like 50, but you could only get to like 25 before it started distorting, because it just didn't have, the ribbon wasn't enough to create the sound that you needed from the movie. That's why most people buy a soundbar, because they don't have enough sound out of them. I thank you.
You're so smart.
I try.
But my question is, why were you referencing car audio? Because you said the door speaker.
Right, because that's what I was saying. Like, because I was talking about like the different hertz in each part of the sound. Like,
why couldn't you have been talking about a old school standing speaker in a wood box that had a woofer and tweeter?
Well, because for me, my knowledge is car, and those are 4, 2, and 0 ohm. And a home
look at you,
8. Huh?
Look at you.
I got. There's a little something up there. The thing is, the fucked up part is, it's just a little bit of a lot of things, and not a full thing of anything. That make sense?
Yeah.
I know enough about things.
Yeah, I'm a jack of all trade, master of none.
Yeah, pretty much. You
went to Nelly and Kaufman Middle School?
I did.
Did you guys used to have after school dances?
Yes.
Did you go to them?
Yes. Every fucking one.
My wife and I were talking about that the other night. Unfortunately, she couldn't go to any of them because my mother-in-law, she was very strict.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, my wife didn't go to any dances until senior year.
Really?
Yeah, from what I think that's what she told me. High school dances, at least. But we were talking about them middle school dances, and I was like, man, those after school ones, on point, kid.
And it's a shame that these kids will never have that same experience of having to walk across the fucking dance floor to go, hey, you know what I mean? Like, well, that was such a learning experience. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I got in. When we're in our 20s, I was at Cecil's, and I tried to shoot a shot with somebody, and I approached her, and she told me to buy her a beer, like right out the gate, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Buy my friend and I a drink."
Fuck that.
Yeah. So I was like, I just pretty much, I don't think I said no, but I just turned around and walked away. And as I'm walking away, I hear her yell at me, "Bud Light." She thought I was turning around to go get him some drinks.
Fuck that. I was standing at a bar one time and this chick came up to me, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" "Good, how are you?" "Good, you gonna buy me a drink?" "No, the fuck I'm not." I said, "If you'd have come up here and you'd have acted right and you'd have talked to me, I may have bought you one. Don't come ask me to buy you no motherfucker. I'll tell you what, why don't you buy me a beer?" "Oh, that's not the way it works." "You damn right, that's not the way it works. You have a good night." Turn around and walk the fuck away. Come on, man. These women thinking they can get free drinks from somebody all night.
But the other thing we were talking about in regards to those school dances was, I don't know if they did this at your school, but at my school, they had the paddle where you could get whooped by the principal.
Well, I don't remember that.
We had the paddle, kid. If you got in trouble,
yes, I remember that.
the week of a school dance, you weren't allowed to go to the school dance unless
You took the whooping.
you took the whooping. It never happened to me, but it happened to my buddy Rick, and he pretty much said, "Yo, they make you bend over," and the principal was a woman, the vice principal was a man. And I don't know if it was because it was a boy, the vice principal had to do it, or he just did them all. But he says, he made him bend over and whacked him in the ass. And he said he stood straight up because it hurt so much.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine doing that now?
Oh. But you know what? It's because they did that then why they can't do it now. You know what I mean?
But it worked.
Fuck yeah. We didn't fuck around. Mm-hmm.
Especially a week of the school dance.
Yeah, no way, dude. We used to get in trouble when we were at Rancho Mirage Elementary when we tried to speak Spanish to each other.
Really?
Oh, yeah, bro. No speaking Spanish, that's rude. That's just because now nobody knows what you're talking about and blah, blah. Like, okay. So we couldn't speak Spanish to each other. Unless we were all like real close and looking out, make sure no white people were looking. Because they don't know what you're saying. Yeah. They can learn it. Shit, we did. Yeah, it was a trip. School back in the days was totally different.
And lastly, in regards to those after school dances, I especially love them now. I especially appreciate them now.
Why?
Because they started like at 3. You know what I'm saying?
I was home by 8.
Dog, it'd be all done by 6, 7 o'clock. Man, that's my kind of dance right there.
Remind me again. How long have you been waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Out of 5, 7 years maybe.
Because I remember doing that when I was doing morning radio. I used to love it. Getting up that early, fucking nobody was awake.
Mm-hmm.
Have your little cup of coffee before you run out the door. You know what I mean? Get to work. Nobody wants to talk to you yet because they're fucking not awake. So it's peaceful. You just go in and you just create something right away as soon as you get there, and then you're gone. Right? Onto the radio, and now you're alive and you're awake, and everybody's like, "Fuck, dude, how are you so goddamn awake at 6?" Oh, because I've been up since like 4:30, bro. Took me a nice cold shower to start the day, and I'm good. Let's go. Let's get it done. I miss those days, like being. But now I can't. The problem is that I think I have so much going on in my head that I can't shut it down early enough to go to sleep and wake up at 4. Does that make sense? Because you're asleep at like 6, 7, right?
No, 8 late.
8?
I took a nap right before I came here.
Really?
Dog, because I was falling out. And the funny thing is, it was like 6:38. I leave my house like at 7. It was at 6:38, and I told my old lady, I'm gonna lay down on the couch right quick. Wake me up at 7. If I fall asleep, wake me up at 7. Because we were watching TV.
Right.
We had just eaten dinner. And I said, if I fall asleep, wake me up at 7. I swear to God, bro, I felt like I laid down and just closed blinked. And my old lady's like, honey, it's 7. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But that helped me out a lot right now because I was tired.
It's crazy because, so I had the last 4 days off, but, I mean, those days my schedule was all over the place for those 4 days. So, I had to go back to work to rest, right? So, but today, I go in early because we had a meeting. And then it was kind of quiet, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and it was busy for the rest of the afternoon. And then, you come home, rush home, do this, and then I'll be up till, what we record till 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Doing this. And then I'll stay up for another hour and 15 minutes and go to sleep and got to do it again the next day. And I'm like, and I stop, but the thing is, I'll go to sleep at midnight and I get up at 8:30, but I'm up fucking 8 times to pee in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? I can't get a smooth night's rest. So, I don't know, whatever.
I wake up that early. Certain days of the week, one of my first stops is a rehab clinic.
Okay.
And I get there early.
For meetings?
And sometimes there are a couple of people up,
Right.
And my question to you is this. I've been there. I've had to go back, let's say, middle of the day, too. Okay, it's a rehab center for addiction. Okay? They're chain smoking out there.
Yeah.
Especially now that alcohol is legal, well, it has been. Marijuana is now legal. But they can't do any of those things. But yet, chain smoking?
Well, I think you have to pick the the lesser of all the evils. And if they, because the difference between the other things that you mentioned, whether it's marijuana or whether it's alcohol or some other sort of drug, it's mind altering. It's mood altering, as opposed to a cigarette. It's nicotine. It is addictive. It's extremely addictive. But it's not. It doesn't change your person or the way you think.
But if you're not smoking, does it not change you?
It can, yes.
Okay.
Because that's the addictive part of it. That's not the. You don't smoke with the intent to stop and go through withdrawals. That's different. But when you smoke weed, because you want to get high, you want to change. You want that euphoria. You want to get away from whatever you're.
Okay, so let me ask you this. My addiction is chemical, which is why I'm there.
Okay.
Can I crack open a beer? I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to something else.
Yes, but alcohol would be considered a chemical.
Would marijuana be considered a chemical?
I think at this day and age it should be. Because
it's a plant.
No, it's not. It was when we were in high school. It was when we were young. It was in the 60s and 50s and 70s, halfway through the 80s, but not anymore. Now it's grown in a pot of rocks, under lights, with chemicals to make it grow fast and stronger. It is no longer organic. It is no longer earth-grown. It is not the plant that God gave you, right? Because that was always the fight, right? Oh, but it comes
It's
from
natural.
It's natural. It comes from the earth. That's what God gave us. Yes, but then you took what God gave you and you added chemicals and herbicides and all this bullshit to make it grow stronger and faster. So now you've changed the composition of what you're smoking. And that's why you can go in and you can get THC that's, super fucking powerful as opposed to the shake shit we used to smoke.
Can't you say the same about cigarettes? Chemicals are used to manufacture it, hold it together, make it stronger, make it tastier, make it
Yes,
whatever.
Absolutely. But again, the difference between what we're talking about and the addiction and that part of it, cigarettes don't make you go out and steal to get more cigarettes. Cigarettes don't make you lose your mind and live on the streets because you get, I had to leave my house because I needed more cigarettes and my parents wouldn't give me money. Nobody's going to fucking leave their house for cigarettes. You see what I'm saying? Again, marijuana, fucking speed, cocaine, whatever, oxycontin, oxycodone, fucking Vicodins, whatever, you know what I mean? Scissor, whatever. Purple drank, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Like, those are mind altering. You're taking those because you're mentally trying to escape reality. And that's what those drugs do for you.
Okay, also though, because they're trying to kick this habit, they are relying more on cigarettes to either stop the crave for the other stuff, keep their mind off the other stuff. So they're falling for another addiction.
Yes, but that addiction to or the use of cigarettes is more of a how do I put it? More of a coping or a coddling mechanism. Because now you don't have the euphoria, but it's like this. It's like eating sunflower seeds. There's a lot of people that quit smoking, they go to sunflower seeds. That's usually the first thing that they try to go to, or gum. Because fucking sunflower seeds help because you're doing the same motion as you would smoking. You're putting seeds in your mouth. Now you got to get the seeds out, spit them, throw them out. You get more.
But that's if you're trying to kick the habit yourself. You're at a rehab center to kick an addictive
right, but they also give you medicines to kick that. But you also have to understand that the come down is vicious, and they have to have something to help them cope with that, because if not, if you quit cold turkey without having, nicotine or whatever drugs they give you to knock whatever it is that you're taking, you could die because you'll get the shakes, you'll throw up, you're gonna sweat, you're gonna physically, your body's gonna be in physical pain because of that shit. Because your body thinks it needs it to quell the pain in your body or quash the pain in your body, and it doesn't. But your body, so your mind is so used to it that it believes it, and that's what happens with people that get hooked on oxy and get hooked on Vicodins, is because they take more than is prescribed because of the pain. Well, after a while, either it's not enough to cover the pain, and then you try to come off of them because you think, okay, well, the pain's gone, and then all of a sudden, once that shit starts working out of your system, the fucking pain is there, right? So it's one of those things where, when you're that deep, I don't think doing it alone is necessarily effective. Some people can. Some people can quit and do it one day to the next. Decide, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not doing that shit anymore, and be done. There's people that have gone and done heroin and have gone to rehab 17 times. I knew a guy, bro. I worked with this guy, and rest in peace, Nick. This guy, I worked with him when I first moved back, and I was working at Swiss Tracks. And this guy, amazing person, bro. Probably one of the nicest people I met when I moved back, right? And super smart. Everybody loved him. Worked out. Like he was living clean. His life was good. He was making a shit ton of money where he was working. Had his girlfriend. They were going to get married. They had just bought a house together. And he had left Swiss Tracks and started a business with a friend of his. And I don't want to say the name of the business because it's not my story to tell. But something happened, and he had told me when he was working there, I used to be hooked on heroin, and I finally hit rock bottom, and I had enough, and I quit. But he was still going to meetings. He didn't drink alcohol. He wouldn't be around you if you were drinking. Like, he could be there for a little bit, but then he'd find a way to get away from you. You know what I mean? Because we would have like these company outings, and people would be drinking around him, and he'd figure out a way to step away from the people that were drinking, and he would only stay there for a little while. Well, something happened, and he was triggered, and he started using it again, and ended up passing away. Dude was like in his early to mid 30s, bro. Passed away. He left his business partner, left his fiance or his wife, and left this world because of an addiction. So man, that shit, once it gets you by the short and curlies, bro, you gotta get help.
I don't get me wrong. I get it. I just don't understand why the facility is allowing the people to establish another addiction.
Because I think the easiest way to get rid of an addiction or to get over an addiction is to create another one.
But cigarettes aren't good for you.
They're not, but it's if that's what they cling to. Because cigarettes are a lot better than fucking heroin.
They could have trays of gum sitting everywhere. Let people chew gum.
Yes, but that's not it doesn't give you the same motion.
Yeah, if you could start chewing on it and then grab a piece with your mouth and start pulling on it.
You're right. It's
but
it's very easy to sit and judge and talk about what you can do when you've never been hooked on anything like that.
I'm hooked on chocolate.
Ninja. Chocolate is nothing like heroin.
No, it's not. But it's still an addiction.
No.
How, dog?
Tony.
How's it no?
Come on.
I can't.
This is not something to make fun of. People that are hooked on that shit, that is nowhere near chocolate. Come on.
I can't walk by a tray of chocolates and not grab one. My mind tells me no, but
has your wife ever found you in the closet unwrapping chocolate, eating it?
No, but she's seen wrappers in the trash can talking about, when did you eat all these?
Well, that's your own dumbass leaving all them wrappers right there. Have you ever stole money out of your wife's purse to go buy chocolate?
No, because why do I need to steal money when I got money?
Well, there you go. There's another difference between chocolate and heroin.
If I did heroin, I'd do it because I could afford it.
After a while, you wouldn't be able to. Because you're going to lose everything.
No,
you're going to stop.
I'm disciplined.
No, get the fuck. I'm gonna change subjects before I blow up at you being silly. But yeah, it is true, and I understand what you're asking. I'm just assuming that they're allowing them to replace that with their other addiction. Not that it's the best thing, but I think again it's one of those things where
and I appreciate you saying that, but I also think cracking a beer is a lot better than doing heroin. So if the dude wanted to drink a beer right there, I think he should be able to. He's coming down in his own way.
Yeah, but if he's got an addictive personality, then wouldn't alcohol be just as bad as a heroin in the long run?
Just as much as cigarettes in that case.
No, because nobody has ever smoked a pack of cigarettes, gotten behind the wheel of a car, and killed somebody. All right, let's move forward.
So you mean to tell me no accidents have ever been caused by a cigarette? Dude could drop a cherry in the seat, and he's trying to put it out real fast, and boom.
Tony,
Just saying.
your fight is ridiculous. That point is absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely.
You just said
that point,
no car accidents ever occurred because of cigarettes.
That point is absolutely.
And I just pointed out one reason why.
What I said was nobody's ever smoked a pack of cigarettes, gotten behind the wheel, and killed somebody. But somebody has killed a 12-pack, gotten in a car, and killed somebody.
And someone.
So what I'm talking about is that cigarettes don't alter your mind the same as alcohol does, and it's not going to cause you to get into a wreck.
You don't know that. I've seen Stranger Things.
It was a good show. It's not what we're talking about. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Hey, did you ever buy those fucking antennas for your TVs? Because I know you wanted to get rid of your Dish Network. And
I did it. Yes, I did get the antenna. I got the antennas for a couple of TVs.
Okay.
One TV, the main TV in the family room, I don't have an antenna for.
Okay.
And it works just as good as the ones with the antennas.
Really?
Yeah. But you're correct. On the very windy days.
Oh, yeah, they get all.
Yeah.
It looks like wind is coming through your TV.
That is true, even with the antennas.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's an RF signal, so it'll. The radio frequency, so it.
So I think I just paid for antennas for no reason.
Yeah, because it's windy out here a lot, so what are you gonna do?
I mean, I got it so I would make sure that the signals came in. But with the TV without the antenna, the signal comes in just as good.
Are you happy now that you got rid of the dish? Or have you gotten used to it? Here it comes.
We're getting used to it. Not being able to rewind something that just occurred on live TV is getting tough to get used to.
Why don't you just pay attention?
Because you might want to rewind something and record it for the kids. Hey, check this out. Look what just happened. You know, stuff like that. Or did I hear that right? You can't rewind it to see. That part is horrible. The services I paid for, the Hulu, Max, Peacock.
Yeah.
I did not splurge with the no advertisements. I got the cheaper one. And the advertisements are kind of annoying. The good thing about it is they have a little clock at the top right corner that says how long until the show comes back on, which is great. I got a minute and a half. I can go do something.
Okay.
But when you want to sit down and watch something,
it's irritating.
It's irritating because you're used to fast forwarding through it. And what makes it even more irritating is obviously because of what it is, it's really the same commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Dog.
Yeah.
Those things are killing me.
So why don't you pay the extra $3?
I think I will when the renewal comes around because I paid for the year. When the renewal comes around, I gotta look into.
Well, it's $3 a year. You're 2 months in. You're probably like another $30, and you can just.
I want to see if I could, because to be honest with you, the commercials are pretty good because my old lady and I will talk about something real quick. You got time to go run to the kitchen for something, come back, take a leak, whatever.
She can go make you a sandwich.
If she wanted to, yes. But overall, my wife and I, we just discussed it again because I pay the bills of the house.
Right.
So she goes, how much money are we actually saving again? And I was like, well, I paid for Max all 3 of them for the year. And they're only like, let's say, average $70 each for the year. That's $210, let's say.
Right.
I was paying $200, almost $280 a month for DirecTV. I'm like, yeah, dude, best thing I ever did.
So well, we didn't save shit. I'm just kidding, Miss Pacheco. I'm just kidding.
But no, I'm happy. The other thing that kind of sucks is we're stuck watching the shows that these streaming services are offering, which is not bad. But what we're doing right now is we pick one and we watch the whole thing, whether it takes us 3, 4, 5 days, an episode or 2 a night.
Right.
So we're going through that, and it kind of gets a little, because you're watching the same thing. You know, it's like watching a 10-hour movie.
Does it feel like, so let me ask you, because it's a lot different watching it week after week as opposed to day after day, 2 or 3 episodes a day, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like on some shows, because I think, do you feel like on some shows you get more vested in the character? Like you're a little bit more like, oh shit, we need to find out what happened to fucking Abigail.
Hasn't happened yet, no.
No? Or is it more of...
like Fubar.
You're right.
It got tedious after a while. We just finished one on Hulu called Class of 09.
Was that any good?
It was good. The ending kind of was really bad.
I can't judge you on fucking endings. You like M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, you know, the ending. Let me put it this way: we watched. Let's say it was 8 episodes.
Okay.
An hour each. That's 8 hours.
Right.
For the finale, what wrapped it all up happened in like 20 minutes. It's like, that's it.
So 8 hours for a 20-minute.
Wrapping it up, how they ended the situation.
Yeah, that irritated.
Yeah, that was like, but it was more like it got to the point where we got to finish it now.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was like we're 4 episodes in.
Deep. Let's go.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we do it is because when you start watching too many other programs, you kind of forget what this one was doing.
Right, and then you forget what fucking platform it's on. I've done that. I was watching one night, and I went back the next day, and I was like, hey, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Wait, was it on Hulu? Was it on Prime? Like, oh, fuck.
So what I think I want to start doing, she doesn't know this yet, she'll hear it now, is I think we're going to pick like 3 and watch those 3. Like one episode of one, and then rotate those 3.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
That's not a bad idea. Because there's times where, like I'll watch Netflix, and then, like right now, I told you, I've been to that show Suits, bro. Fucking, it's a great show. What's funny, though, is some of the music that they use, like, it almost equates to, like, a fucking Mexican telenovela. Ta-ta-ta! You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, what was I saying? Suits. Yeah, I was doing that where like I'll watch them, and then I'll watch something else, and then all of a sudden it feels like there's nothing else to watch. And there's thousands of titles on there, but like I fucked up my algorithm on my Netflix, and it's just now starting to come back. So for a while there, it seemed like there was nothing on, and I found a show that was Scandinavian? Something like that. It was foreign, but it was dubbed in English. But it was a good show. So I watched all fucking 8 or 9 episodes. I think it was Ragnarok, when it was about the kids. So I'm watching it. I got vested in it. It was decent, right? And it really wasn't anything else on, so fuck it, I'll just watch that. And then all of a sudden, I started getting more shows from Scandinavia. Fuck. And then I watched, I'm a big Donnie Yen fan, which is the dude that plays Ip Man. Not IP Man, it's Ip Man. And
I don't know what Ip Man is.
you don't know who Ip Man is? That's the guy that trained Bruce Lee. And they made there's 4 movies that you should watch. There's actually 5, but there's 4 that you should watch. The ones that have Donnie Yen in them. But Donnie Yen's like a big international superstar, in Japan or somewhere in the Orient.
Asia.
Oh yeah, that place. So he came out in this other movie where he's a detective, and this dude's like calling him out, right? But the dude's got like a fucked up foot, and it's like super heavy. He's got this big old fucking shoe on it. So he goes after all these different kung fu masters, and he's killing them. So Donnie Yen has to catch him and stop him. And Donnie Yen and this heavy foot dude end up fighting in the middle of the fucking road. The problem was that it was all fucking dubbed. So now I have Scandinavian movies and Asian movies that aren't dubbed that are coming up on my fucking algorithm. So I'm like, oh fuck, dude. I don't know. Yeah, but what's cool about those fucking movies, like I'll watch them, and I feel like I know Chinese or Japanese or whatever it is they're speaking. Like, just by what's going on the screen, you can kind of, you know what I mean? All fucking movies are the same, right? Everybody talks the same kind of shit, right? So we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this dude killed this dude's master, and now he's going after him. Actually, you know Chinese? Yeah.
We just binge watched that also on Peacock, based on a true story. It's about this married couple. They start a podcast about a serial killer that they know.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well it's not like they know him, but they know him.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good.
Really?
Not too bad. They meet him, and then they figure out there's like a serial killer, and they meet the guy, and they find out, oh shit, he's the serial killer. They figure it out. So they do a podcast with him. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Did you see on Peacock is the one that has the show with Pete Davidson?
Yeah.
And have you watched that?
Yeah, Bumpkins. I told you I watched that.
And it's good?
It's not bad. I'm not mad at watching it.
How did him and Uncle Vinny play off each other?
Not bad.
Yeah?
Uncle Vinny was...
Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, he was in quite a few episodes, but, he was like a supporting role.
Oh, okay.
It was more about Pete Davidson and his daily adventures.
Did you watch The King of Staten Island or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like that, like his life like that?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, like it seems like.
But he's in the show. He's Pete Davidson.
Oh, okay. In Bupkis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he is him.
Okay.
There's one episode where they meet this dude from Florida. I forgot what his name is. In real life, his name is Rex something. Funny dude. He sang a song. He had a rap song called 1980. Let me check. His rap name was Dirt Nasty.
Dirt Nasty.
Yeah.
Gold chain. I'm on cocaine. I'm like, yo, man. What? I rolled in, straight from Oakland, holding my dick like a U.S. Open trophy. What up to hyphy? Y'all don't know me. Dirt nasty, ass cheeks, spread wide, G-string to the side. 1 drink, Cavassier. 2 drink, vodka straight. 3 drink,
Let the beat come in.
Throwing up on my brand new mink coat, and I'm doing coke. Y'all can't hold my donkey road. No, call the Pope. play for me. Go roll voice with your lady. I lived through the 80s and shit was crazy. Everybody wanna know my name. Bring the pain and pop champagne. Every girl wanna hold my chain when I fuck their brains out on the bus. Got gold chain like it was 19.
Now, what makes the song is actually the video along with it.
Okay.
So if you type in, go to YouTube, Dirt Nasty 1980, and just watch the video, it's fucking hilarious, kid.
Dirt now. Okay, so we'll put it up on our Madhouse Sideshow page
But
on Insta.
he's in one of the episodes. He's a riot, kid.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get the Peacock channel. That's the one I don't have. But I do have AMC Plus and the new Walking Dead with
Here we go, people.
with Maggie and what's the name came out?
It came out already?
Yeah, it came out last week. Was the first episode.
You know, and here's what's funny. Because I don't have cable,
Yeah,
I probably didn't see any advertisements for it.
yeah. It's a little hard.
But I haven't seen anything online either.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, it's been all over. I see it on TikTok and on what do you call it?
Is it any good?
I didn't care for the first episode very much. It felt like it was missing something to me. But the second episode, much better. Got it back on track right away. And they said they put out an article the day after saying that was the biggest show open for them ever. It was bigger than The Walking Dead. Was this show?
Wow.
I think it's going to get really interesting and very nasty, really quick.
When you say nasty, like
Negan going back to being.
really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, the second episode, he right back to being that lean back, fucking swinging his bat, dude. Bro. He was right to it, and you're just like, oh shit, he's back. So that was really kind of it was really good. I saw that. So HBO had this show, or has a show, called Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
The first season was fucking off the charts.
Yeah, it was good.
Second season was kind of like, not really digging the third season. I fell asleep.
Third season's even worse?
Yeah, I tried watching the third season. I fell asleep twice
Really?
on the first episode. So that's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean by the how it was going downhill. The first season was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Did you ever see the main actor, McBride?
Danny McBride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see one of his first shows on HBO?
Which are Eastbound and Down?
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
That show is a riot.
You know what else is funny is fucking, I think it's called Principals.
Vice principals. That was okay.
It was very good. I'm a big fan of Walter Goggins.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the name.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's in this other show called Justified.
Yeah.
Great fucking. That's a good show. He plays that part really well.
He was also in that cop show
Which one?
with the bald dude.
Shield?
Yeah, Shield.
Really?
Yeah. That was a good show too.
I tried watching a couple of episodes that I haven't gotten to his character yet.
Shield is good. But Eastbound and Down is, dude, that's a great show.
Yeah. The chick that plays his wife in that show, she's it, dude. She is so hot. I've always thought like, and she's gone.
She ain't blonde.
Huh? No, I know. But she goes through these stages of being like thicky thin to being like thick. And bro, there's just something about her that she's smoking. Matter of fact, she's the one that played the sister on your favorite show, Mike and Molly.
My favorite show.
Yeah. Mike and Molly. I'll give you a couple minutes.
Oh.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever taken any of your vehicles to have shit done to it at the dealer?
At the dealer? Yes, once.
What was it? Tell me kind of.
Took my wife's Lexus, two Lexus, because I don't remember why.
Okay.
And they couldn't fix it. And they charged me like $300 to tell me that.
Why couldn't they fix it?
I don't remember what it was.
Try that again. They stopped making parts for Lexuses after a few years.
Is that? And my wife's vehicle is like, it's not even in production anymore.
Yeah. I asked because the other day, 2 months ago I went to Phoenix.
Okay.
I'd gone there for the weekend, driving into town, like 30 minutes away from our buddy's house, and I blink and I open my eyes and there's a big strap of tire laying in the middle of the road. So I hit my brakes to make the front end dip, and right before I hit it, I gave it gas so that the front end would lift, like all at the same time. Kind of like hydraulics, right? You work with the motion of the vehicle. And I still hit it. And I was going 80 because that's the speed limit in Arizona. Well, at 80 miles an hour, it unclipped like 4 or 5 clips of my front bumper, the actual bumper. The balance underneath did a lot of damage to that, and it was all unclipped up front. And then on the back, to where the rear tire is, there's like a plastic lining underneath the car, to protect like the gas lines,
shield,
brake
yeah,
lines, and all that shit. Tore that shit to shreds, bro. Like there was just a little piece hanging off. And so I pulled over and I got on the ground and I'm looking at it, trying to see, okay, well, what is it? I mean, it's a brand new car. I don't fucking carry tools with me. You know what I mean? Like, what do I need tools for, right? And so I was like, well, fuck it. I'll get to Manny's house, we'll pull out a jack, figure out if there's something, if he has something I can use to cut it or whatever, whatnot. So I got there and it was a little bit late, and I was like, I had to get an early start the next day. I was like, hey, dude, I said it ran fine on the way here, didn't pull, it didn't do anything. We'll just leave it the way it is. It's fine. So sure enough, dude, I drove it, didn't have a problem with it while I was there, other than that little fucking piece dragging. So you know what I mean? You pull into a parking lot, like, a little embarrassing, but whatever.
Right.
So I come back. Yesterday or last week, Friday, I had the day off. Was like one of the first days that I had. So I took it in to the dealership. And I told them, I said, hey, I'm here for the oil change, but here's what happened, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, well, I'll have them take a look at it. It'll probably be about an hour and a half. Fuck, okay. So I'm sitting there, an hour and a half comes, and she comes over to me. Hey, did they send you the video? I was like, oh, that don't sound cheap. Right? And because I told her, I said, hey, just have them, put new clips on. It looks like they just popped the clips off on the front balance. It just needs to be put back up. And if you can just cut that thing off the back, I'll be fine. So she comes to me and she shows me, dude, for whatever plastic broke in the front and in the back, and to have them replace it was almost $3,000.
God damn.
She said, "Yeah, you did a number on it." So yeah, I hit a pretty big piece of fucking tire going 80 miles an hour. Like, what's the expectation? Like, of course, it's gonna be fucked up. I said, look, just have him fucking clip it back on and cut that piece off in the back. See if he can take it off. If he can't, just cut what he can, and I'll figure it out later. And she said, okay. So I went from having a $3,000 bill to replace that shit to $120 for them just putting a couple of plastic clips that cost them maybe 15 cents, and to unscrew a couple things in the back to take that off, or to cut it. I don't even know what he did to cut it out.
So is your shield gone?
The one in the back is.
And what do you know what that protected?
Yeah, like the fuel lines and the brake lines and all that.
So that's exposed?
Yeah, I should really replace that part, but
Right.
I'm not gonna do it for $2,000. I'll find it somewhere else cheaper, dude. Or if anybody listening works at a junkyard and you have a 2022 Camry and you have those under pieces that are in pretty good.
Oh, let me ask you this. Would with technology, would a 3D printer be able to make one of those?
Yeah, but you'd have to have the piece to print it to get the specs from, right?
You don't think that's something you could look up?
I don't know how 3D printing works.
I don't either.
I thought you had to scan the piece to print it.
I have no idea. I mean, I know they make guns and stuff out of them. I mean, I could imagine they can make a flat shield.
Yeah, because you know what? You might be right, because it could just be putting in points in a CAD system of what's what, where the depth and all that kind of bullshit into it. They could do it. But do you know anybody with a 3D printer?
No.
I mean, it sounds like a much better option.
Before I forget,
Yes.
you'll be proud of me. You'll pat me on the back after this one.
Uh-huh.
We missed you Saturday night at the chili cook-off.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
My goddaughter Erica hosted with her job chili cook-off.
That's right, for Pegasus, right?
Yep. The wife and I went.
Why didn't you call me and remind me? Secretary you were.
So nice little setup. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 9 different people offering chili, and they give you like little, let's say a Dixie cup, if you will,
Okay.
and they gave you like a little plastic coin. Each chili had its own box. If that's your favorite one, you put the coin in it, and then they added up all the coins.
Okay.
So I tried like 5 different chilies.
Really?
Yeah, kid.
And ones with beans or no beans?
They ran the gamut. Majority of them had beans.
Okay.
So chili is something that you have beans with, or contains beans. One, which I thought I would have been my spot, was a meat chili, no beans, spicy.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's just like a stew, if you will.
Right?
It wasn't my favorite. My favorite was a meat chili, 5-bean meat chili.
I didn't even know there was 5 beans.
Shh. Tasty, kid, I have to admit.
Really?
They had a chicken one. I didn't try that one, though. Chicken chili. That's not my deal.
It's like having tofu chili.
And, you know, we grabbed like 6 or 7 of them. You know, we tried each of them. So when we figured out the one that we liked, or at least that I liked the most, I went and got some more of that one. At the end was another table that somebody was manning that had shredded cheese, onions, jalapenos, and sour cream, kid. So I was like, huh.
Anybody selling cornbread?
One offered little cornbread bites with it.
Really?
Yeah. So I went, got some cheese on that mug, a little dollop of sour cream. Dude.
All the difference in the world, huh?
Yeah, it made it totally much better.
Dude, I want chili right now.
It was actually, I have to admit, I was pleasantly surprised.
Really?
And even Erica was like, I can't believe you're eating that. And I was like, yeah.
So I have to, or Mingo's going to give me shit when I tell him. That's good. Good for you, dude. No, that's great.
And you know, I think what it is because it's a meat dish.
Right?
I'd be willing to try it. You know, the seafood, the Asian food, that's not for me. Meat.
Because meat, and because it's like manly, hearty food.
I won't argue that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like fucking cowboy food right there. Like fucking rough and tumble, you know what I mean? You roll out into the prairie and fucking break out the Dutch oven and let's get it on. That's good. So did the one that you liked, did it win?
Yes, actually, it did.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're a follower. I'm just kidding.
No, I was pumping up the crowd. I was like, number one's the one. Because it was the first one. Yeah.
Dang, the first one even. Had that person won before?
Actually, that person won last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Huh.
And first place got a dinner with a bottle of wine at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
We should make chili.
She got hooked up.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Very interesting.
What are you looking at?
I saw this story. I was looking for it while you were talking. About a law just passed saying that police officers can now be sued individually. Before, they would have to go after the department and the city would pay out.
Okay.
And it'd come out of taxpayers' money. Now, they could sue the police officer directly.
So in a case, let's just, for shits and giggles, George Floyd, with the cops kneeling on his neck, I should say. So what you're saying, in a case like that, they could sue that police officer personally.
Correct.
Because he did not follow their
How about
rule book, if you will.
How about he was just the cause of the death?
No, I don't know if I'd go that far, because if he was actually doing what he was supposed to be doing,
Just in the wrong. Because I don't think what you're trying to. I don't think what you're trying to say is coming out.
well, what I'm trying to say is, in the employee handbook, there was nothing that said you should put your knee on their neck for X amount of minutes. So he took it upon himself to do that. Which is why they probably said, which is why he could probably be sued personally.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're doing wrong shit and you're treating people the wrong way and you do things incorrectly and cause issues, you can now be sued on your own.
So it seems like you're not going for that. You don't think that's right.
I do. I definitely do. I think, well, yes and no. I think if it's something blatant and it's something that's wrong, they should be. But at the same time, if they're dealing with fucking criminals that did something wrong, you're a criminal. If you weren't doing something fucking wrong, you wouldn't be in the situation to begin with. Sorry. They need to go back to that, and that's what's the problem. That's what they're too worried about, these criminals and their rights, and so now cops got to treat everybody with fucking kitty gloves, and everybody's turning on them. They need to go back to fuck it, let's fix shit, let's fucking shoot now and ask questions later.
I know where you're coming from, but do you not also think that it's one of those, so many bad apples have ruined the bunch? So now that's the reason why, that's at least one of the reasons why it has to be handled with kid gloves?
Absolutely.
Because if the officers were on the straight and narrow, and officer shootings and whatever is by the book and had to happen, then, we'd look at it differently. But because you have these rogue cops that messed up so much stuff for the good cops, those bad apples ruined the bunch.
Yes. I'll agree with that.
Reluctantly?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll agree with that. We're gonna leave it at that. Well, because I don't think it's that simple, and that's the hard part. Because, we hire these people to go out and do this job where they encounter their life and the loss of their life to some degree, right?
Right.
They're going into situations that you and I probably wouldn't take that job. Like, nah, I'm cool, thanks, fuck that, right? And you know, they have these people that bash them and talk about how terrible they are and all this shit. But yet, at the same time, when something's going wrong, they call them. Well, wait a minute. If we're so terrible, what the fuck you calling us for? Handle your shit. Right?
Well, I think that's a blanket statement. I mean, would you agree that some people wouldn't call the cops?
I'm sure there are some, yeah.
And even people who wouldn't bash the police wouldn't call the cops? Or haven't bashed the police still wouldn't call the cops?
But isn't that part of the problem?
Because of the bad apples. I would think so, yes.
Well, is it because of the bad apples or because they fear retaliation from the people they're calling the cops on?
That could play a part in it as well. I understand if you're bashing me, why are you calling me when you need help? I get that.
Right.
But you know, that's just I know you'll probably nitpick this, but let's say it's like those on your honor candy boxes. It's like I had one at one of my shops. I paid if I were to take a candy bar. I saw people pay if they took candy bars. But yet, when they came back to refill and count the money, they were like, yo, the amount of candy that was taken, we don't have enough money. Next month it happened again. The following month, they're like, we're just going to take it because it's not... These bad apples are ruining the bunch. It's like, it's not our fault. We're paying. But no, because of this small group has ruined the bunch.
Yes, but I think that you have it backwards because the bad apples in your scenario are criminals as opposed to being cops.
But the cops that are causing the issues are actually criminals as well. Cops that pull over drug dealers or whatever, find 10 grand hidden in the trunk and take it and say, what are you going to do about it?
It's a cost of doing fucking business.
or accidentally, or maybe not on an accident, kill somebody and say, oops, let's drop a gun and say he had one.
You're committing a crime.
Not every single time, no. You can't tell me that.
Well, you're right. Not every single time.
Okay, well, the few times that it wasn't, they ruined the bunch. When a cop is driving behind you want to tell me you don't get nervous? Even though you're not doing anything wrong?
Oh, because I am doing shit wrong. That's why I get nervous.
What are you doing wrong?
I'm usually speeding and I slow down just in time to... So I try to dip over to the next line to see, and then he'll...
Okay, let's say you weren't doing anything wrong. You had your seatbelt on. You weren't even playing music. Your windows are rolled down so they could actually see on the inside. And a cop still gets behind you. You're still going to get nervous. Why?
I'll tell you why. Because I grew up in the 80s where when a cop pulled you over, you rolled your window down, you threw your keys out the door, and your hands out the window so you wouldn't get shot by the cops.
Even though you weren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
Or whatever it is what you were doing wasn't worth getting shot over.
It was a cost of business.
Hey.
Either you
because you realize about those bad apples.
Well, either you learn to act right or you will get fucked up. It was just like when you were at home. There was shit you shouldn't be doing, but you did it anyways to see if you can get away with it until that your mom's chakla hit you in the back of the head. Same shit.
And the times you got away with it, and the one time you got hit with a chocolate for no reason, it was, hey, you did something, so, okay.
Exactly.
Because you were bad somewhere, I know you were, So this is just paying for that, even though I don't know what it is.
Made my point.
Because you were a bad apple over here, I'm making you pay for it over here, over there.
Some shit happens. There's going to be casualties one way or the other, right? I'm just saying. My thing is that we've gone, soft on criminals, and we have all these fucking laws on the books, and we don't use them, or we've created loopholes, and people, people do get mistreated. Some people get what they deserve. Some people don't. The whole fucked up part about people going to jail and it not being them and all that, that's fucked up, right? But how do you fix it? You know what I mean? Like where is it at? And part of it, they talk about, I think one of the problems with police and that element of I was watching one earlier. I was watching something on TikTok or something earlier, and this cop came in, young white guy, and came up to a couple of black guys, whatever, and right away tries to assert his dominance. Gets close, squares up, talks right in his face, instead of, because I know, like, around here, like, you get in somebody's face like that, it means you want to fight. It means you want problems, right? That's not what the cops want, right? That's not what they're supposed to want. They're supposed to be there to de-escalate the situation, figure out what it is, and be on their way.
Okay, right.
So, part of the problem is that we take these cops, these white cops that have never been in some of these areas or never dealt with those kind of conflicts and aren't streetwise, and don't understand that, hey, if you step to somebody like that in that neighborhood, you've taken that situation and shot it through the fucking roof. If you get out of the car and you walk over to them, don't put your hands on your guns, don't put your hands on your belt, right? I'm not saying don't put your hands where you can't take care of yourself, but don't make that your first move, right? Then you walk over and don't stand right in front of them or square up. When you talk to somebody, you stand on the side of them, right? You understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
So, if cops learn those little nuances of communicating with people, it would change the interaction of what they're going for. Now, is the criminal element is a criminal element is a criminal element, and there's nothing you can do to change that. You understand what I'm saying? If that's what they are and that's what they do, that's what it is. Can you still go in and talk to them with a basic level of respect and get the same outcome but differently? Possible. And it's going to be at a different level. Like if you came in and you did those little things and you changed the way you approach people, it's going to take that maybe that level goes up to a 6 instead of getting in their face, and now it's a 10. So as you continue to pressure, you're pushing that number up.
I get what you're saying, but I got the impression from the start of this topic that you were saying cops shouldn't change the way they are. We're catering to people because they're claiming to be victims. But now you're saying, well, if the cop was a little nicer.
Well, wait a minute. If somebody's in the middle of a crime,
allegedly,
if somebody's in the middle of a crime, then there should be no having to be nice about it. Fuck it. Get the fuck down. Let's secure the situation. Get everybody away, and let's figure out what happened. Now, if you're going up to, somebody's home, or a couple of dudes that are hanging out in the corner, and somebody called and complained about them. Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, listen to, you guys are just hanging out. Step to the side of them. Somebody just called and made a complaint. what do you guys got going on out here? Like, what's really going on? Now that may not change how they respond to you, but now, if there's a shift or a change in how they respond, that's on them, because now you didn't create a hostile environment. All you said was, "Hey man, we got a noise complaint. I'm not here to jam you up. It's what's going on? What are you guys doing out here?"
Okay, but what if the complaint was, I saw these two guys breaking into a car, and they're standing right in front of this house now?
Well, that's different.
No, it's not, because it's still a complaint that the cop has to investigate.
But yes, it is, but it's different.
How
is it? It's different as opposed to, hey, these guys are hanging out right here, as opposed to, hey, I saw those guys break into what do you call it? Into a car. All right, hey guys, I'm Officer McGillicuddy.
No, but
got a call about somebody breaking into a car. They pointed out that it was you guys. At this point, I'm gonna have to take you guys in real quick. Write it all out, fulfill the complaint, whatever it is. Would that work? I don't know.
See, but the point I'm trying to make is, I just told you they were accused of a crime.
Correct.
In the beginning of this topic, your scenario is the cop should just go up straight to his face and say, "We're here to investigate a crime.
That's not.
They're saying it was you.
That's not what I said.
Do what I say. Da da da." But now you're saying
that's not what I said.
Now you're saying, "Hey guys,
they were caught in the middle of a crime."
But what I was, I understand that. But what I was saying was, which. It seems like you dismissed was, you don't know if they're in the middle of a crime. You don't know what's going on. You're like, nope, crime's happening. Nope, you're a criminal. Criminal's criminal.
If you get there and they're in the middle of a crime.
But what I'm saying is, you don't know. But if you don't know that, is what I'm saying. You don't know what's going on. You got to investigate.
Why are they there where there's a crime being committed?
Because they could just be walking down the street.
Fucking bad.
You see what? That's exactly what I'm saying. The two guys that are standing in front of the street, too fucking bad. They were accused of breaking into some cars, so I'm gonna go over here and roughhouse them.
But that's different.
How is it different?
Because I'm not catching them in the middle of the crime. That's what we're talking. That's what the difference is. You're talking about, hey, I'm rolling up to this place. There's a crime being committed. We need to gather everybody that's in this motherfucker and figure it out.
And I was talking about the people who you don't know exactly are involved in this crime.
You gather everybody that's around and you figure it the fuck out. Oh, hey, we were just walking.
Well, exactly what's.
Hold on. We were just walking through, going to my mom's house. I walked over here to get my girl. Blah blah blah. All right. So
no, there ain't no. All right, you're saying hands behind your back.
No.
Because this is going on.
Come on, Tony.
You're in the realm of what's happening. Hands behind your back until we can figure all this out.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But that's part of figuring it out, right? So what are you guys doing here? What happened? Because now you got everybody. Now hold on. Now you got everybody hemmed up. Everybody's in fucking handcuffs and in their prospective area, and you've talking to everybody. You come over to these people. Hey, what's going on? Hey, the cop saw me. We were out here on the street. We're just walking by. This happened to happen. We were just here. Like,
okay, I understand.
So where do you live and where are you going?
Okay, I get all that.
All right, good.
But what I'm saying is. What I took you saying initially is, fuck it, I could be an asshole because I'm a cop and I think you were involved in this crime that's going on here. I'm gonna act the way I want to act and push my weight around because I'm a cop and I feel you're a criminal. That's what I gathered you were saying initially, which is why I was saying you can't do that because you don't know exactly what's going on. You should handle it with kid gloves until you find
that.
Exactly.
How can you handle that with kid gloves? If you're walking into a situation where somebody's committing a crime, you can't handle that with kid gloves. That's what I'm saying. You go in there and you get everybody and you separate them and then you figure it out from there. Because they're going into a situation where they don't know what the fuck's going on and they got to figure it out. So they got to be alive for all that bullshit. And if you were smart and you weren't involved in it, you shouldn't have fucking been there. Now, those kids that were walking by, hey, okay, you were going to your grandma's house. Let's drive you over to your grandma.
No, you
and
see,
find out.
you can't. You're
Why?
changing the attitude though. It's all about
Because
the
you've
way
already-
you're approaching it.
You've already got everybody hemmed up, and you've talked to all the other people. These kids aren't dressed like the ones that were there. You saw them
now's the
walking
dress.
by.
Now is the way they're dressed.
Well, sure.
All I'm saying
If
is,
your pants are hanging halfway off your ass,
all I'm saying
chances
is,
are,
okay. All I'm saying is, unless you plainly,
That's what I
bluntly
said.
see that they're
That's
creating
what
the
I
crime.
fucking said.
But what I was saying was, if you don't know, you can't come up pushing your weight around because that's what makes a bad apple. You cannot
If
come up
you're-
to a
if
guy
you're- if you're
and
there-
just standing there, hey, what are you doing here? Somebody calls, say you broke it in the cars. I ain't got shit to do with that.
Well,
Well,
now you're going back to the other situation. I already said that you handle that one different. If you walk up and you see the motherfucker in the car, or you see him pulling the stereo out of the car, whatever the fuck they're doing, or if they're running out of a building with boxes,
of
they're
course,
committing a fucking crime.
yeah, I get that.
And I said when the dudes were just standing there,
I think if we re-listen to this, I think initially I said you got to make sure. I said something along the lines of you got to make sure, because if it's not 100% sure, if it's not 100% that person did it, because you saw him with your own eyes, you can't be pushing your weight around because everyone has rights.
But here's the other problem. But if you're committing a crime, why do you have rights?
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you're
If you're in the middle of a crime, you shouldn't have. They
Correct.
should do whatever the fuck they want.
to an extent, yes, yes.
That's it.
But
No, but that's it.
okay, if
No,
not, if
no,
somebody called me and I'm here to investigate it, and you just happen to be here, I didn't see you doing anything, but you're around here, I'm gonna hem you up too. It's like, hold on a second, sir. I ain't got shit to do with this. You ain't seen me doing
Well,
shit.
but you're talking about two different things, though.
Well,
But
I'm not.
no,
You are.
wait.
You're talking about one thing.
No.
I'm talking about one thing.
You're talking about something different.
Correct.
And that's
Which is
what-
what I was doing from the gate. I was saying
No,
it from the
you
gate.
weren't.
Yes, I was.
You're true, because I told you if they guys were on the corner how that should be handled. Now you're talking about, oh well, if they're in the area but you didn't see them doing, but somebody
But
else
you
was,
just said, you said, no, hem them up too.
hem them all up.
No,
'Cause
you
don't-
can't do that.
Why not? If they're there and you don't know who all is, because maybe that motherfucker was sitting out front, being the eyes, and maybe he just he panicked and forgot how to fucking whistle.
Okay.
To let his guys inside.
That's fine.
So you hem everybody up to figure out who are the players.
Okay, and if somebody didn't have anything to do with it,
Mow them all down. Fuck them.
see,
Line 'em
okay,
up
there
against
you
the building,
go.
doesn't matter.
There you go. That's why they're getting sued.
That's
why they're getting sued.
But if they did that shit, people would stop acting out.
That's right. That's true.
I'm tired of watching these fucking people on. Oh well, I don't have to give you my ID, motherfucker. Just give me your ID.
No, you're totally wrong on that.
Why?
If you're walking down the street right now for exercise, you're on your
You know that
sweats.
ain't gonna happen.
You're just
Can you
rocking.
give me- can you give me something that's real?
yes. You're walking down the street just to get some exercise, and you didn't bring no ID. All you got is your phone, and a cop rolls up on you and says, "Hey, what are you doing? Let me see some ID." You can be like, "Fuck you! I'm taking a walk."
No, I wouldn't do that.
I would, because I ain't done nothing wrong. There's no reason. There's no reason.
Why wouldn't you just comply and carry on with your day instead of being a dick to the cop?
I'm not. He's being a dick to me.
Because he's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Obviously, he's there.
He don't need to know what's going on. I'm
does
walking
he
down
know?
the street. I'm minding my business. He's a stranger.
But here's
He's
the
a
problem,
stranger
Tony.
with a gun.
If you're in, but
I
that's
don't
his
need.
fucking job.
I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone. Go do your job. I'm just walking
He
down
is
the
doing his
street.
job. Some shit's going on in the neighborhood. You're walking around.
I don't give a
Who are you? What
fuck.
the fuck are you doing?
Hey, minding my business. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, what's your ID? Okay, as a citizen, here you go. I ain't doing nothing wrong. Here's my ID.
Nope. I'm walking down the street
And
minding my
guarantee-
business.
And I guarantee you, I'd be willing to put fucking money down. That if you were walking down the street and the cop said, "Hey, oh shit, my name is
No,
Tony.
you
Here's my
dead
ID."
wrong on that. If a cop came up to me and acted like that, no, you're not getting shit from me. If you were like, "Excuse me, sir, we got something going on right here. I'm investigating it. I just want to rule you out, whatever. That's a different story. But if a dude comes in, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, you look like the Puerto Rican we're looking for.
Hey, take me in, shit.
All right, Tony. All right. Any shout outs? Any final words?
Yeah. I stand with law enforcement when they're doing it correctly. For starters.
Didn't sound better ante up on your spaghetti.
And I'll tell you what, if cops came barging into your door because they thought this was a house that needed to be raided, you'd be suing them.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. They're just doing their job, Mingo. They just happen to get the wrong address.
Well, then they need to pay for being at the wrong address.
Hey.
Right?
I know you're trying to you're going to try and come up. That's all I'm saying.
Hell yeah. Oh, shit. Oh. My back.
You got me all twisted up now. I want to fight you. Today is Luis and Melissa's 25th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, you two. 25 years, nothing to sneeze at. And he just turned 50. So he's married half his life. He'll always be married half his life.
So good. I'm just kidding.
My Uncle Domingo's wife, my aunt, her birthday's July 3rd.
Ooh, that's right around the corner.
That's right. Happy birthday, Tanya. Now, here's the thing. She's my aunt. She's younger than me.
Okay.
She also has nephews, her brother's side.
Okay.
Her brother's children, which are younger than her, obviously. Once I was with them, and they were calling her aunt in their language, which is Croatian.
All right.
So now I refer to her in that word as well.
What is it?
Teta. So she's my teta. Happy birthday, teta.
Happy birthday, Tata.
Jackie's son, Travis. His birthday's the 5th. He's going to turn 4. So happy birthday, Travis.
Happy birthday, Travis.
And on the 8th, just in case, Shannon turns 52, our high school buddy.
Woo,
happy birthday, Shannon. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. So we may have a episode next week. The following week between the 9th and the 16th. I know we won't do one. I'll be out of town. So the following week, but we're gonna try to do one next week. So just keep an ear out for that. And before we go, we want to pay our condolences and our respects to Jason Herrick, who passed away just a couple of days ago. They don't know why. I guess he was sick and
Wow.
2 days later he was gone.
I was in 5th grade with that dude. I've known him since the 5th grade.
I knew him all through high school. Matter of fact, when he moved back, he was one of the guys that bought one of our shirts.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was cool. Cool of him to do that. I'm sure the family's going through it right now. So, we pay our respects, condolences.